Hey, welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Videos. We're doing new comics today. We're going to blow through some that I just recently picked up. And we have a blind bag opening at the end. I need help. I think I'm becoming addicted to blind bags. So we got a blind bag for Queen in Black. That's coming out. I don't even like or want to read Queen in Black, but I saw the blind bag and kind of had to have it because I'm really curious. So I know it's a sickness, it's an illness. We've all been there. We collect comics, right? So we kind of know what the collecting bug is about. So stick around at the end of the video for that. We've got some things coming up in terms of the new books this week. A book I don't understand why it didn't come out on Father's Day. Brought tears to my eyes. We're going to be covering that near the end. Hit notifications, hit like, all that good stuff with the channel. Would love for you to subscribe. And I have an apology for you folks from a few episodes ago. I teased a trivia question for the end of the episode and then completely forgot to give you the answer. So, trivia question was, what country in the world has the highest percentage, or the largest percentage of vegetarians? And it's something like 38% of the country, of that country is vegetarian. And I teased that answer, and then by the end of the video completely forgot to give it to you, so won't tease that one again. It's actually India. I mean, holy cow, right? They don't, 38% of India's population is vegetarian. I do have a trivia teaser for the end of this episode, and we'll have to see if I remember to give you the answer. But the trivia question is, in honor of Brand New Day, with two of my favorite characters back here, two great characters back here, I guess. One's my favorite, one not so much. With Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out this weekend, who filmed Tom Holland's audition tape, I should say. It's not necessarily video or even tape at this point. Who filmed Tom Holland's audition for Spider-Man? Back in the day, before Civil War, when folks were auditioning to play the newest movie incarnation of Spider-Man, Tom Holland had a buddy film his audition, and that'll be today's trivia question for the end of today's video. Do not Google that. Have a little fun with it. Wait and see, and maybe you can guess and stick around to the end to see if you got the answer correct. And honestly, at this point, stick around to see if I remember to give you the answer, right? So let's get right to it. New comics this week: The Mortal Thor, number 13, another phenomenal Alex Ross cover. I'm going to get this a little closer so you guys can enjoy that at home or wherever you choose to partake of Heroes and Videos. Love those Alex Ross covers. This is Thor's son. This is a little complicated, but the X-Men fans will be able to stick with this, I think. This is Thor's son from an alternate future, and he's come back, and he's now the Allfather ruling Asgard, because in the previous incarnation of this book, the immortal Thor, Thor disappeared. Thor is no longer around, and the last 12 issues of this book have a major mystery going on in terms of where Thor is. And he's got a mortal incarnation, as it says in the title, of Sigurd Jarlson. What we're not sure as of the last issue if he is Thor or not, but this is Magni or Modi, I never remember. I keep forgetting from God of War. I think this is Magni, the son of a future Thor. He's got red hair, if you notice that. That is his mom, the Enchantress, in the background there. and so beautiful cover. The interiors are great too on this. One of the other books in this run was A Tale of Asgard with just this character in it. He hangs out with Black Jack O'Hare, which I think is the bunny nemesis of Rocket over here behind my shoulder. And Black Jack, well, we're going to do some mild spoilers. Black Jack met his demise in a previous issue, and this is the son of Thor here is dealing with that. Really surprised me where this book ends up. It's just a great one and done story. It's also Legacy Thor $7.99, so the next issue is 800. I'm kind of hoping they're going to wrap up that Mortal Thor storyline. It sounds like it's going to be the next phase of what's going on in Thor, and Thor has been crushing it, so pick it up if you're not already. Next up is X-Men. This is sort of a Juggernaut solo story, as you probably guessed from the cover. These are the X-Men that are living in Alaska. This book does not take place in that. It really is kind of a one-off. Greg Land does the art. Still Jed MacKay writing the book. They present some things like a lot of great comics. They're talking about current events, and there's a statue in the midst of a small town for a character. I believe it's the guy, the Trask. I don't remember which Trask it is, but that created the Sentinels, and so it causes some chaos in a small town. There's a lot of great discussion around that in the book, and honestly some neat insight into Juggernaut's character, because he is the only X-Men, or one of the few X-Men that is not a mutant. We always forget that, but his powers came from the helmet and from the crystal of Sidorak. I'm going to mispronounce that. I apologize to all the Doctor Strange fans, but X-Men continues to crush it. Really great one and done. This next book I picked up just for the cover. I know nothing about the book. I just saw this cover on Comic Hub, and I had to get it. It's the last issue of the book. I may pick up the trade or the back issues at some point to figure out what's going on, because I had no idea, other than it is based on Alice in Wonderland. And this is Alice Forever After. Look at the pathos of that cover. I'm assuming that is the White Rabbit. Look at those tears in his eyes. This cover was just so beautiful. I had to pick this book up, and it's rare that that occurs. You know, I mean, I love variant covers and whatnot, but for me to come in at the 5th issue of a 5-issue book, simply because of how beautiful that cover is. Now, it's Dan Panosian, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He writes this book. He does draw a few pages of it, and he did that cover. But it's just, how beautiful is that? That's just, I mean, anybody that says comics aren't art, you know, works of art, sorry, I have to disagree, and I know all of you would too. Just thought that cover was really something else. And the book reads well. I think it would read better if I knew what was going on. Next up, Justice League Night Vision Special. I talked about this in an earlier video. This is a one-shot with Batman and Lex Luthor, and they're trapped, uniting to save reality. That is pretty much what's going on here. Great interaction and back and forth between these two characters, who have way more alike than we would think. Both, you know, wealthy, both geniuses, both very what's the word I'm looking for? Not intuitive, but they're using their minds to figure things out, right? And they're very talented, very capable people, and it's interesting because they kind of get under each other's skin too. So also return of a villain that hadn't been seen in a while, so I'll tease that for you a little bit there. And it leads into the next phase of All In, which, mild spoilers here, may involve Darkseid. So next up, a couple of books that just wrapped up this limited series, Rocketeer the Island. Just some beautiful covers. I picked up Rocketeer, had a video shop, as you may have guessed by the name, Heroes and Videos. That was the name of the shop back in the 90s, and not only sold comics but also rented videos. And the Rocketeer was one of the videos that I had. Enjoyed the film very much. It was, you know, it was riding that superhero wave right after Batman '89 or around that time, and this is it's just neat. It's a guy with a backpack. I mean, with a jetpack, and in this he come across an island. I'm assuming most of these characters, I'll show you the next cover as well. I'm assuming this is 3 and 4. I'm assuming most of these characters are in the public domain, because Rin Tin Tin shows up, Popeye's in it, Kong, so it's I have to assume most of those folks, and I'm missing a couple, but most of those folks are in the public domain now. That's why they're showing up. But at the end of the day, the Rocketeer, the best way I can explain it is, yes, he's a guy with a jetpack, but just like Spider-Man or Captain America, he is, at the end of the day, he's somebody that's just trying to do the right thing, whether he's got the jetpack or not. And it's a fun book. And there's 4 issues. They're easy to find. I don't know if they're selling out, so you should pick it up. Next up, I'm going to do the theme song for this. I know you guys really love it whenever I sing, and it's rare that I do. Greatest American Hero. Great television show, I want to say from the 80s. I don't think it goes back as far as the 70s, but it's possible. About a guy, William Catt is the actor. That's his likeness there. But it had, I guess the best thing about it was the theme song. And for me, all I can hear is George Costanza's voicemail message from Seinfeld. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Leave a message at the beep. If I was here, I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. And I know that was terrible. You'll get it if you're a Seinfeld fan. But apart from that terrible voicemail message and my off-key singing, it really does have a great theme. Like Google it, check it out on Spotify or YouTube it. But it's just a great theme. And the idea is he's an everyman who finds this suit that gives him incredible powers. The beauty of this book, and I was a bit thrown because I have the free comic book day book, or the free comic book day issue of this, and it's pretty much the same issue, so shame on me for not paying more attention. But the idea is, the conceit of this book is, he's back. He's been gone since the time of the TV show, and I don't remember or know how that show wrapped up. I didn't follow it religiously, but he's back, and so he's basically been an absentee dad for his kid for all these years. Nobody knew where he was. No, the kid and his grandkid doesn't believe he's a hero. Doesn't believe he was the greatest American hero. So it's a good read. So if you're into independence, this is from AMP. I'm not sure from reading the back pages of this, because it sounds like it was a Kickstarter kind of deal. The actors involved and the creators of the book, and it says issue 2 coming soon. But it also has an ad for, hey, if you want to help fund the book, please do so. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a second issue or when, but this was worth picking up. It's really good. If you're into independence, if you want to help support an independent title, you can go out there and get Greatest American Hero and see if you like it. And I should have figured out, or I should have looked up what, or if it's streaming or out there anywhere. If so, it was a pretty fun show at the time too, and definitely you have to check out the theme song. The theme song is amazing. So next up, and yes, he's on the shelf back here behind me, Rocket Raccoon is having his 50th anniversary, which is insane. I'd have to say Rocket really hit his best years once he got to middle age, because 50 years ago would put him at what, 1975? No, that's 30 years. 1980, right? No, 50 years, 1975. Sorry, I didn't know there'd be math in this video. I had to get this variant cover. You guys know I'm all about variant covers. This is Rocket Raccoon, Rocket Rewind, his 50th anniversary here. And it's Mike Mignola who did that great limited series, which I really feel like that appearance that Rocket had in the Hulk didn't really feel like the same Rocket. He feels a little more like himself in that 4-issue limited series that came out way back. And Mignola did the art on that. This is where, obviously, more recent Mignola, he's, more of that, is that Bang Boom in the background? I don't know. That may be. But this is more like his Hellboy sort of stuff, like the way he's drawing now, which it would be, because apparently he drew this now. But I just thought that was really cool. It's a lot of smaller stories by different creators. And it helps explain a little bit some of the different interpretations of Rocket there have been over the years. So it's a neat little narrative within this book that maybe allows for that, where I don't want to say like Grant Morrison's Batman way back, where, okay, we're now able to reconcile all the various iterations of this character. I have to say his first 30 years or so wasn't really crushing it. It wasn't until the Annihilation book and the appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies in the MCU that Rocket became as popular as he is now. I'm sure James Gunn and Bradley Cooper had a lot to do with that. And also certainly Keith Giffen, because he was part of that Annihilation comic. Speaking of Keith Giffen, there's a black and white story in here that I have to assume, based on the creators, is from something from years ago. But it's written by Bill Mantlo, and it's drawn by Keith Giffen. And it's different. Rocket's not in it as much, very much, I should say. But it's kind of cool to see when you see work, and I don't know if this was an unpublished work, or maybe something from a Marvel Previews or magazine back when they were doing black and white stuff too in the magazines. But it's interesting to see creators when they have that older stuff, or that you get to see stuff you maybe haven't read before from another era. So Rocket, good job, my man, making it to 50. I think now technically you can get senior discount on a lot of things, Rocket, but I'm guessing you don't want to admit you're 50. Behind me on the shelf here, I just thought it was kind of cool. Sometimes I'll put up characters that we're talking about, or in the books we're talking about. Sometimes also, this is one of those cases, just looks cool to imagine that shot, kind of like Thor with the Ultron. We'd have words with you, that with thee, that kind of the iconic scene, like if you had to see that in a book. And I just thought it was kind of cool if Thor, who we've already talked about, Rocket, who we've already talked about, Dr. Doom, who we're about to talk about, showed up, and Rocket's being flanked by those two powerhouses, but Rocket being in the middle. I just thought that would be kind of a cool look in a book. Next up, talking about Dr. Doom, Doom Quest. This is a variant cover. I don't think it was out this week. I think I just might have missed this one, or perhaps maybe even picked up another cover. I just love the fact it's an Iron Man cover, I believe, or homage to an Iron Man cover where Iron Man is in the reflection of Doom's eye instead of Human Torch. I thought that was neat that they did the old Marvel Comics group banner and has the torch up in the corner box. Doom Quest is it's kind of like when Batman and Captain America both have had those issues where they're coming back from the dead somehow and they're going through these different eras. Now that's not how this one starts out, but long and short of it is Doom's consciousness is going through different time periods. And he went through, he was on the Titanic, I think. I honestly don't remember what the first one was. That's terrible. But in this issue, he's in the body of George Washington. And prior to some of the great battles of the Revolutionary War. Not even that mild spoilers here. Yeah, mild to major spoilers. It takes the tact, like what if in the body of George Washington, did think it was neat that Doom apparently has studied great battles and great tacticians throughout history. So of course he's aware of what happened in the American Revolution. Everything he's doing in this book is for the good of Latveria, and that's kind of Doom's thing. Yes, he wants to dominate, or again dominate, I should say, after One World Under Doom. He wants to dominate the world. He thinks his vision for the world is the best. But he's also they've spun that a little bit to where Latveria is his home. Latveria is the country he wants to see prosper. So he's trying to do everything he can to make that happen. And in this, he's changing history somewhat. Spoiler, shocker, Doom does not believe in the Prime Directive. So he's changing history by going further than George Washington did. But an interesting book. And I look forward to that wrapping up, I think, in the next issue. Here's the book that made me cry. World's Finest Annual. And this is Take Your Dad to Work Day. I don't know why this didn't come out last month with Father's Day, or month before last, I guess, by the time this is showing. This is Alfred and Pa Kent. And yes, the World's Finest duo, Batman and Superman, are in this book quite a bit. And it's Mark Waid wrote it. It's not Dan Mora doing it. Excuse me, but the art is fantastic. It really reads well. There's another Justice Leaguer in here as well as the top two there. But it's really kind of neat. It's a day, just like these World's Finest books in the past have had team-ups, whether it's Supergirl and Robin, or Jimmy Olsen and Batgirl, where the sidekicks have shown up and got to shine a little bit. In this one, it's their parent figures. They're Alfred and Pa Kent. And I realized, the way they're written in this, Pa Kent comes across as a bit of a jerk to Alfred somewhat, but then I realized Alfred's holding his own, kind of being a jerk. He's a bit snobby about the steakhouse that they're having dinner in, and but I think we're just kind of used to Alfred being an acerbic, kind of sarcastic jerk with Bruce all the time. So it just felt a little weird to see Pa Kent, throw some shade back at Alfred. But it's really good, and there's just a really heartwarming Alfred Batman scene in here that just brought tears to my eyes. But you guys know I'm a big old softie, so amazing book. Like a lot of these, they're self-contained stories. They're the regular World's Finest book. They're self-contained arcs, like 2 or 3 issues in a story. This is a one and done. If you want to read a really good, heartwarming Batman, Superman story, World's Finest Annual should be your pick. Now, we are up to the main event. Queen in Black, True Believer's blind bag. I have no idea what could be in this thing. Here are some of our options, folks. The Ryan Stegman cover, David Nakayama, Gurihuru, Art Gem, Virgin covers, Patrick Gleason, alternate webhead foil version, Peach Momoko, Ryan Stegman, an all black variant, or blank variant. Wow, really? Is it going to be the Spinal Tap cover? Is this thing going to be just a black book? Like, how much more black could it be? None more black. There's a connecting variant A, a connecting variant B, Marvel Rivals, or other ultra rare mystery covers. So, hang in there with me, guys. We are going to have a bigger set of scissors today. I didn't run with these either. We're going to see how this works. Don't tell my wife I borrowed her scissors. She is not necessarily a fan of the channel. That's a loaded statement. But, so I'm pretty sure she's not watching. But please don't put in the comments just in case. Or please don't let her know. Here we go. I'm going to cut this all the way across because I so badly butchered the last one. All right. Nothing up my sleeve. And I'm going to pull this out again just so you guys see it before I do. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think of blind bags just in general, because I find myself getting kind of addicted to it. Okay, it's got one of those covers on the cover. Oh, sorry kids, we'll cover that up so I keep the PG rating here on YouTube. So this is the flimsy cover. Oh, I shouldn't have looked. I wanted to be surprised. So this is the variant cover I got. Oh my, Stars and Garters. So that's a little racier. I'm a little blush, I think. That's a little racier cover than I would have picked out. Is that, I'm going to assume it's Mary Jane because of her swimsuit design. Not that I'm looking at the swimsuit design. My eyes are up here. My eyes are up there. But interesting. So I might have to bag this one, put it in a box pretty quick, because that is not that is a little racier cover than I may have necessarily purchased. But I have to admit, it's not a bad cover. It says DNA. So is that let's see. Oh, that's just an ad for what's coming up. Let me go back to the bag. DNA. I know I should know who that is. Help me in the comments. I mean, I've seen a lot of their stuff. It's not DNA from Dan Abnett, and I'm forgetting the other part of DNA. The folks that revitalized Guardians of the Galaxy years ago. But very pretty cover, I must say. So I'm not. What does it say? I'm not mad about it. Now, I do look forward, now that I've gone to the trouble of buying the black variant, the black bag variant. I forgot it was Null. Not one of my favorite villains, but honestly, I haven't really given him a chance. So I will look forward to reading this book and maybe reading the rest of the Queen in Black stuff. I'm really hoping MJ's not the Queen in Black, because that would make me very sad. I like Mary Jane Watson. But that is it. So let me know what you think about the cover. Keep it clean, kids. As always, almost forgot. Trivia question, right? Thank you for sticking around to the end. Trivia question. So who filmed Tom Holland's audition video when he auditioned for the role of Spider-Man? And the crazy answer is, and it's all some serendipity, but it's the guy that plays this guy right behind me, John Barenthal, actually recorded Tom Holland's audition video, which I find kind of insane. I know they were in the movie, I just looked it up and now I've forgotten, Pilgrimage. In 2017 that came out. Now Civil War came out in 2016, so presumably Tom Holland would have been auditioning sooner than that, 2015, 2014. I don't know if they knew each other prior to that or not, but I just thought that was kind of a cool little bit of trivia. So go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. No spoilers in the comments. I haven't seen it yet. We're going first of the week. But as always, keep reading comics, keep going to see films in theaters, and be kind to each other.